like to me it's like not just I'm proud to be autistic, like it's I'm proud to be me. Like I'm not, you know, just proud to be a gay man. I'm not just proud to be all these other demographics. I'm proud to be me. Like it to me like it's beyond these basic demographics. Like just beyond being on the spectrum, beyond being queer, beyond like even my skin color. Like I don't feel like I have like kind of adopted a culture. Like I've kind of like created my own culture, and this is for me and me alone. And anybody else who wants to join in, like, sure, go ahead. But this is my flavor. Like this is my thing. That's separate from these boxes.
Welcome to another episode of What It's Like to Be You. I'm Josh Levine, your host, and on this show, I interview accurately typed guests about their experience as their Enneagram type. Today, my guest is Moses Williams, who's 18 years old, and he's a social self-pres 5-wing-6, 5-1-3 trifix. As a type in the mental center, Type 5 is looking for a stable and reliable and truthful orientation by which it can navigate reality. And as a rejection type, Type 5 is opting to go about that project completely on its own. So that's in contrast to the other two types in the mental center, Type 6 and Type 7, which in contrast to 5 are somewhat less mentally isolationist. Type 5, you could say, is the most radically mentally independent type on the Enneagram. So as a social type, Moses has a very tender need and drive to have fulfilling social relationships. But as a 5, he has found himself somewhat bewildered about how to actually go about doing that. And it's also important to mention that Moses is on the autism spectrum, which adds a little extra color to that difficulty. So Moses became interested in psychology as a way to understand how to have social relationships and how to navigate the social realm. Something that tends to be true of 5s is that 5s are interested in topics that tend to make other people uncomfortable or wince because they are scary or disturbing in some kind of way. And this is certainly true of Moses. And so I want to issue a trigger warning at the beginning of this episode because we talk freely in this episode about topics that may not be appropriate for sensitive ears, like pornography, sexual deviance, suicide, and the like. To me, this conversation is a really good example of how Type 5 is not operating from a place of mild curiosity about the world or a light proclivity to have intellectual pursuits, but rather from a place of almost like a violating level of disorientation and bewilderment, sometimes even about baseline things that other people take for granted as just part of their instinctual intelligence. So if you'd like to learn more about Type 5 and about the Enneagram, then please check us out at the Enneagram School, and I recommend you check out our intro course as well. I hope to see you there, and until then, please enjoy this conversation with Moses. So I'd love to start with, how are you feeling right this moment?
My heart's beating fast. I am I like feeling like body sensations, like where am I in the heart? Like those kind of feelings.
Yeah, just your state. Yeah, what's happening for you?
Yeah. Really, I think I'm excited. I think I'm excited. I am excited. Um, I I think I feel pretty good about this interview.
Me too. I'm really excited to do this with you. And I was so, like, your typing video was just so incredibly delightful. And I was really excited to reach out to you and do this. And the first question I want to ask you, and then we'll get into kind of the rest of the topics that we discussed. First question I want to ask you is, how did your upbringing shape your awareness of psychology and the inner world?
Well, upbringing. Um, so I was introduced to the Enneagram by my older brother. I was 12 years old. Actually, I was introduced to Myers-Briggs, and I talked about this before. Um, but like basically, I found Myers-Briggs, took a test, and like my naive ass was like, "Oh, well, let's just see what this test is." And I got typed this type, which I greatly disliked. And like it was a 16 personalities.com. It was bullshit. It was like this whole description. I didn't know that, but I read the description. I was like, huh, I got to find out more about this. And I was thinking that, my God, like, is there something that I'm missing here? And yeah, like I was introduced to the Enneagram much later. I dove right into that. Hated the first type my brother thought I was. And
Which
like I went
was
into a series of mistype.
your brother
Like five.
typed you. He typed you as a
Sorry.
5. Your brother typed you as a 5 right
Yeah,
away. Okay, yeah.
yeah. Like it was. Yeah. As a kid, I was a pretty. I would say I would be a pretty PS5. Um, I was pretty. Um, like I was pretty withdrawn. I didn't like everyone. I hated most people. Like every single person that had eyes and ears. Um, and like I didn't care so much to be involved, or at least like I basically told myself like I don't care too much about the outside world. I don't want to be involved out there. Um, and like I saw people as just kind of obnoxious and annoying and bothersome, and I thought, what's the need of them? Like, so I just stayed alone doing my own thing, and yeah, I can go off on just being a loner. Like I wasn't thinking that I'm lonely or shy because I don't know, they seem kind of cheesy. And
Right.
also I didn't experience myself as kind of lonely.
What were you doing when you went off on your own to when you were,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I was interested in animals. I was really like I think all I remember knowing about was like I watched these animal documentaries or like the only thing I don't really remember reading a lot of books except for these animal encyclopedias. And maybe I've read plenty of books before, but I don't really remember much. But I was collecting stuffed animals. I was obsessed with animal encyclopedias. I was drawing them. I was yeah, like I had my own deep I was just yeah, just yeah, all of it was animals, and I think that's most of what I remember from my childhood.
Mhm.
Um and oh, what else? Like it's I think animals really interest me because um I think I don't know I don't know what it is. I think I was just drawn to it. It's just like one one good one interesting facet of it is that I really was afraid of snakes. Yet I really am interested in. I really like snakes. Like I
You're
have a
wearing a
whole
necklace of
snake
snake. Yeah.
collection.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. Because and there's something like ever since I first saw a snake swallowing something whole, I was just terrified. But I was drawn to it nonetheless. It's like, huh. It's I don't know, like when you confront something that you're afraid of, it's like here you are right here, and there's this fearsome image right over here,
Mhm.
and it kind of gets you like right in the moment
Mhm.
instantly. Um, and also I think it's just like there's something interesting about brutal nature and how different it is from other people.
So
Um,
just real quick
yeah,
on that, that's just an interesting point right there. Just having something that you're terrified of and then wanting to look more closely at it. Because
right.
there are other types, a lot of other types in the Enneagram would have the opposite reaction, like just stay away from the thing that I'm terrified of, and we could potentially characterize it as
Oh wow.
counterphobic or whatever. But it's interesting to me that
Yeah.
you were scared and you wanted to look closer and even get kind of more intimate intellectually with it, or how would you phrase
Yeah.
it?
Like
Yeah.
it's like I would have no problem like talking about like as a kid I would talk about these animal facts or different things, and um I don't think they I don't really think that they disturb other people, or at least I don't remember other people being disturbed, but sometimes my family, like my mother's like, oh, don't talk about that at the table. I'm like, what? So approaching that like as a kid, like I didn't really I don't know, I think it was just interested in for the sake of interest.
Yeah.
And I think I just approached it like I didn't think of it as entirely intellectual. Like I approach it very mentally. Like it's like I'm not a part of this, but I I would like to, but like this is just something that I've been engrossed into. Like yeah, I'm first of all raised in a conservative Christian household. Oh what like as a kid, where like my parents would not allow anything with monsters, magic, mouse. Like as a teen, like when I first got um like my tablet and I had free access to the internet and everything. I realized that, oh my God, we live under overseas. Like, because like like I was delving into my own interests at the time, and but then like having free access to the internet, and then doing quite other things with it, and
Hmm.
exploring parts of myself and exploring more information. Uh, like there are so many things that my parents have just completely walled off, like because of their beliefs and whatnot.
Is it
Yeah.
religious beliefs or is it cultural beliefs
Uh,
or?
it was specifically religious beliefs, like
Okay.
and funny enough, like I saw like other Christian families go for trick or treating or Christmas decoration, like they decorate their house for Christmas, and I was saying to my parents, why don't we do that? Like, what happened? And there's kind of like this, like my parents just said, oh, we don't do that because it's wrong, and like they say this whole ritual thing, and like like even like when first finding out, like uh I remember it was a For Better or For Worse comic book where someone was coming out as gay to their mom. And I asked my parents, like, hey, what's that mean? And they closed down comic books, and they like they basically like shut down the entire conversation. It was like, what was that?
Uh-huh.
It's like this silent exclusion sort of thing where parents are just not being honest to their kids.
Yeah.
And like there's a whole lot of this kind of traditional cultural Christian repression on what's wrong or what's bad. You know
How
what I mean?
how old were you around like in that specific example of the comic book?
Um, I was probably 7 or 8 or
Yeah,
9.
really
I
young.
can't remember.
But
Yeah.
your reaction, as you recall it, in the moment of that, or in that time, was what? Was it like, oh, here's a menu of options. Was it like, oh, okay, this is wrong. Mom and dad don't like this, so I should not do it, or was it
No, I was
suspicion
just
or
confused. I
confused?
was just
Uh-huh.
confused. Yeah, like my parents were just like I always thought like my parents were just hiding something that they don't that they were hiding some information from me. It's like
Uh-huh.
what the hell is going on?
Uh-huh.
And like sometimes I had the thoughts where like secretly like my parents are not like actually are different otherworldly beings that are destined to control me, and everyone else is just part of a simulation. And I thought I had to find a way to get out of it. Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah, and yeah, like there's plenty of information, like even my sexuality, like I didn't know what sexuality was. I didn't even know what uh being a homosexual meant,
Mm-hmm.
but until much later.
Mm-hmm.
But like as a kid, I knew all about that, and then once I actually had access to the internet, I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I basically like had more time to look it up, and um like I was actually delving much into this uh kind of pornographic world there, where most kids like actually would view, like
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
like I think there's kind of this idea where um like parents or like older generations, and even my generation, I'm seeing where there's kind of this fear and stigma about teaching sex to children, teaching kids about sex, or teaching
Mm-hmm.
um the younger generation about sexuality and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
because there's this idea of sexualizing children. And I think it's just pointing sexuality in no matter what age. And there's a whole like rite of passage on age of consent, drinking laws, smoking laws, bring it back to 18 for God's sake.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But yeah, but there, I think sexuality, whether people know it or not, is present in everyone. And like I try to figure out like I don't want to like end up becoming some sort of creep in the future. Um, So like I looked up like why is pedophilia a thing? Why are these sexual deviants or
Mm-hmm.
fantastical things in there?
Mm-hmm.
And there's not much of an explanation for it. It's like it's just happens to be there. And there's so many tangents I'm going on here. But
Well, actually,
uh,
let me stop you for a second because I just want to point out some 5 themes that I'm noticing, and then we can kind of go into any of these trails that you're opening. But
mm,
you know, what's really clear about your relationship with the kind of orienting field around you during your upbringing was that you felt like there was something that adults were hiding from you, and
right,
when you got your iPad, it was like this whole world of possible investigations opened up to you, and you really started exploring, and that included um, topics that are kind of held in your culture to be taboo, especially sex and pornography and things like that. And
Right.
um, and even just investigating things like pedophilia and these kind of darker sexual crevices of the
Yeah,
human psyche. It's like, what is that?
yeah,
This question, what is that? Why does it exist? These are the kinds of things that we see with fives, where it's like, um, the kinds of things that people don't, that sometimes, I don't know, cringe over, or it makes them uncomfortable. Fives are just like, wait, what's going on there? And then they go in,
yeah,
and explore. So,
yeah. Like there's feet fetishes, there's leather fetishes, there's animal fetishes,
uh,
there's a like a little shit fetish.
uh, yeah.
Oh my god. Like I read a book where oh my god, this book. Where basically there's this like this teenager like goes into this guy's house, and like there's this whole like sexual ritual, and I think he's kind of sexually abused there, where basically, but he does come back, so it's like, oh, that's weird. But basically there's this kind of sexual ritual where he like where this guy licks his ass and these shits,
Hmm.
and it's like, wow. Like that is like weird and fucking disgusting, but I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
and American Psycho, like even American Psycho is like a really good representation of like sexual blindness and how perverse that can be, and like
mhm,
even how like sexual is destructive.
mhm,
And like I think with what Patrick Bateman does, or what he fantasizes, and even like his lesbo fetish, he like even with violence, I think his like murderous fantasies, and like even ejaculating out to headless women, into blood, into like just things that he should get STDs for. He like I think there's a way where sexual is like destructive and piercing, and I think with that, like please do enlighten me on more of the sexual blindness, but um and I think David, like I remember David Gray said something, and I'll shout out to him later, where David Gray said something about like there's kind of a piercingness into that perspective of sexual, and basically and there's kind of that literal representation of like sexual with literally destroying the body and literally like
mhm,
murdering and killing somebody,
mhm,
and like even with like disgusting weird shit.
mhm.
So yeah,
So, I guess my question is, what's your relationship with your sexuality and your story? Is there a story of you coming out? And also, so that's actually question one. But question two is, what I'm really struck by is how populated your inner world is with these images of kind of horrifying sexual deviancy, and how just kind
yeah,
of fascinating that is to you. Yeah. Where does that fascination come from, and
yeah,
what draws you to it?
yeah. I think my fascination comes from frustration in not knowing about this earlier,
Okay.
um, and uh, and realizing how like, oh my god, I'm so stupid and naive. I gotta find this out quickly.
Oh, so
But
that's okay. The naive thing.
yeah,
That's a really interesting
yeah,
word,
like
I would
there's
say. Like,
like
yeah, it's well
like
because it's like this.
like there's
When you notice that you're being naive, or when you are naive about something, it's like what comes up, like an impulse to understand. Like, I have
yeah,
to not be naive anymore. I have to get this.
yeah, like there's a whole story with just being naive, but I'll
Uh huh.
go into the other track then.
Okay.
Um, where I think I experienced my sexuality, and as like it's present in me,
Mm-hmm.
um, and again, I'm not even sure if this is part of being autistic, and maybe I have some undiagnosed hypersexuality, but I don't think that's possible, because I'm like, well, does everybody think this way? Like where like sometimes I do like I kind of fall in love quite easily.
Mm-hmm.
And um like if I have no person or object that I'm like, you know, I want or I'm obsessed with, I can't have like it's like nothing. Like there's nothing there. Like I need something to gratify myself with. Like I need something to like um, you know, obsess with. And that's much of my inner world.
Hmm.
And yeah, like there's like I'm kind of aware where culture has, an underbelly of sexuality, yet there's this kind of hypocritical conservatism. Um
Well, just real quick, a
yeah.
commentary on what you're saying. I'm hearing a lot of the, first of all, social self-pres, like awareness of how the collective holds rules and policies and regulations and things like that, and
Mm.
and 5 wing 6, where it's like the 6 wing kind of orienting you to how the collective is, let's see how to put it. It's like you actually are aware of and ingesting how others are orienting, and then finding your own way of like poking at it and disagreeing with it from your kind of 5 inner world. If that makes sense, from your 5
like it
perspective.
like like in other words, it's like seeing that there's something off and looking at the collective
Yeah.
and examining it as it is, which is kind of like skewed negative. And honestly,
Yeah.
like it's like I wouldn't like I think I'm pretty like I see myself as pretty realistic, but it's it's probably like skewed negative because maybe it is negative, like it is just ending up to be shit.
Well, yeah, I'll just say it's like you're aware of the silliness and arbitrariness of these rules that people hold as almost sacred, like an implicit social contract. And it's like all of this lands on you as worthy of poking at and investigating and questioning, and just sort of like, wait, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right. So you
Yeah.
kind of take that into your inner world, and you're tinkering with it, and then now you have like opinions about what it should be, or just kind of want to throw it all in the
Oh
air or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Like my whole goal is basically getting rid of the social contracts.
Okay.
Like basically like it's like there's a social contract for a reason, but to me it's like I'm still figuring it all out. Like hell, I
Hmm.
might actually just like these are just like little like snippets of what I've got, and like okay, well maybe just more. But um part of it is like yeah, like either replace it or destroy it, or like um some other like ridiculous radical idea where it's like get rid of like half or three-fourths of the universe and start over.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, like having too many people and getting this social contract up, like it's really complex to get into a whole solution for the
Hmm.
collective.
I wanted to follow this thread of naive, this word naive that has, it feels like that word has a lot of charge for you. When you discover that you are naive about something, it feels like, oh God, I have to understand more about whatever that thing is. And I think that there's a trail there, right? To the worst moment of
Yeah.
your life. That you want to take
Yeah.
you want to take us there?
Um yeah, so it was now it's 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um basically I was in the theater camp and I was starting out to socialize, and I still think that yeah, I'm like part of it is like I know like I want to like have significant people in my life. I realize that. And I was like, I'm not gonna even try to like read all these like ridiculous self-help books or how to be more social. I was reading about body language. I was still learning a little bit about psychology at the time, and um yeah, I was into the Enneagram. I was obsessed with it and everything. Um and I think there was a moment where um this is gonna get really embarrassing. So I was interested in someone,
Mm-hmm.
and um like in my mind I was slowly thinking something is off and something doesn't seem quite right, or something doesn't quite seem to make sense. Like um like i- it's as if that like I'm starting to get an unrequited affection, or like unrequited love, if you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
or this unrequited kind of agreement.
You were the one wanting, and the other, and it wasn't being reciprocated. That
Right.
whole unrequited. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've been and like basically like after the first performance it hit me that like I was like first of all, I was extremely tired, and like it was kind of a long day. Like I didn't think that it was like I'm used to long days. I'm used to playing with activity, and I thought, that's okay. And then I got tired and I was like, why am I tired? And like it's like my body was just like
Mm-hmm.
there's this whole like sunken downward heavyweight energy of nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And um it and I was just going on a blank. Like I did not know what it was. I couldn't try to interact. I couldn't try to do anything. I couldn't like I was just sitting there just with a blank. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of hit me where it's like, I can't do this. And I
This
like
being,
yeah, like this being like I can't like not only is it unreciprocated, but it's also like having relationships in the first place is not possible.
okay.
And like as a kid, I was basically like, being a loner, like doing my own thing and
Yeah.
like it hit me how much I have like and that was like it hit me much more than when I was first introduced to Myers-Briggs and Enneagram,
Uh-huh.
where um I have basically cut off every single opportunity to even like um make a connection or or be involved.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I um oh my God. Um and I was thinking that like I was trying to like after Myers-Briggs I was like, okay, I'm gonna get out there. I'm gonna find more people and like I'm gonna do this my way.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that my way wasn't working. And um it was as if I kind of failed at something. And um I was really um depressed. Like I was it was like I was trying to beat the odds or basically beat God,
Uh-huh.
but God was like, no, you're stuck here. You're doing this no matter what. And I was just horrified of that now.
Doomed
And
to the oblivion
yeah,
of
I,
relational
it,
incompetence and just that
yeah,
is that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
yeah, not just yeah, well, definitely relationship incompetence and
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
finding, not finding any significant people. Like these
Mm.
are like it's like these people were just it, and I'm stuck here and I can't do anything. And it was just
Okay, yeah.
horrible to me.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And like and also I noticed that like as I was socializing, like these teenagers like seem to have some way of where they like a way of being where I can't even describe it much with words, but it's like they've well I can only like say to the multiple examples where people tell me that you've got to adapt or you've got to be more positive
Yeah.
and it still goes on. Oh my God. There's this math teacher I had last semester and like she pulled me aside on like what I was watching on team project. She pulled me aside and she said, "You gotta learn how to be more positive." And that was like the most shocking thing I've ever heard from her, especially from like she's like at the time she was pretty unlikable. She was pretty hard, she was pretty blunt. Like she's like, "This is my queendom, this is what I do." And people don't like her. And it was incredibly shocking for me to hear that from her. And
Mm-hmm.
um she said like you got to be more positive because it works. And to me it's like, no, I'm gonna do it my way, but I'm gonna make it work.
Uh-huh.
Or otherwise
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna like basically like I have an idea where it's like, setting terms and conditions where it's like, okay, this is what you do, this is what you like, kind of just like odd last tango in Paris thing where you go into this room to do this one thing, but no names, no identities, no, I don't want to hear about your life. We just go in for this and leave. And like I had this orientation to teamwork where it's like basically um the way we work is like we pull our own weight. Like we have set rules or we have or otherwise like the way I do teamwork is basically not working with people
Mm-hmm.
where like I just work alone and do all of the work because I cannot rely on other people to do anything at all. And
Just
I
as
think
a
people are
snippet,
just
that
like,
that quote is so good.
yeah,
The way I do teamwork is I don't work with people. It's so good.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Like like I think that people are just like, you know, like part of it is that like there's a way where I enjoy vengeance where people don't get credit and people are left behind. It's like, ha ha ha. Yeah.
Hmm.
But the other part is like I can't rely on other people to just pull their own weight or to bring
Yeah,
something
yeah.
to the table. And
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
I can only think of like at less than two people, three people who can I can actually like would be interested in working with the team with.
Hmm.
But um like for various reasons. And but for most people, it's like I can barely see potential. I don't see anything. Like, what's the point? So I just exclude everything, and it's like, okay, well, if you want to assume a role, you do this, and I do
Hmm.
this.
Hmm.
Done. I don't care. Like, leave your personal bullshit elsewhere.
Yeah.
And
But
yeah,
there's this theme of self-reliance. I can't rely on anyone, and also just going back to the moment of devastation that you had, right, where it was like, you felt. Actually, can I read? I wrote a quote down from your typing video. I want to read it back to you, and just
yes,
because
sir.
that'll take us there. So you said what happened is that I learned all that I knew about people was in vain, that I didn't know enough at all. Like, why are they having all these things, relationships? I'm assuming, and I don't. What's wrong with the world? And then actually, you caught yourself. You said, I almost said, what's wrong with me? And then you were like, there's nothing wrong with me. It's just wrong with the universe. So there's some one fix stuff there, and through four fix also. And then you said, but yeah, there was something wrong with me. You kind of settled, and they said, all I knew is that I was ignorant and naive, and I need to figure this whole flawed, messy bullshit existence that is outside of me out.
It was basically me saying I am not flawed, but
Uh huh.
I realized that yeah, I am a piece of shit. I have to like confront that. Basically, like yeah, like that kind of ties back into the story where like that was prior to knowing Big Hormone Enneagram and getting to
Mm-hmm.
Jung and all the
Mm-hmm.
other things that I'm interested in now.
Mm-hmm.
And um like at that moment of oblivion, I was the first thought I would like basically I had two options. Either A, I you kind of like have you seen like A Clockwork Orange?
Yes,
Like
and yeah, read it. It's
yeah,
amazing. Mm-hmm.
where like I haven't read the book unfortunately, but uh like basically Alex like becomes good, in
Mm-hmm.
which they basically they get rid of they basically kind of dehumanize him or like force him to be disgusted at bad, violent, graphic sexual images.
Yeah, they sanitize him, right?
And yeah, like
Yeah.
I had the option like my option A was either becoming sanitized and
Uh
becoming
huh.
like an automaton
Uh
where
huh.
I basically delete and erase everything from my mind and then kind of like become this adaptive uh, model for people.
Yeah.
Or I 100% eliminate myself from this world.
Mm-hmm.
And like like I um like those were that was just what I was thinking. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it was awful. Like I was like
Yeah.
either I'm gonna like I gotta get out of here. Like I cannot be stuck anymore.
That
Or
sounds
otherwise I
terrible.
gotta find a
Yeah.
way to like strip this out. I gotta find a way to strip this out and basically liberate, not just like not just liberate like liberate other people and liberate people's conceptions and
Mm-hmm.
like these assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
And
Was that a third option? That what you just said?
yeah,
Was that
like
option three?
yeah, that was the third option.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
I said there were two options, but yeah, like there's the third option of
So
basically okay,
just
I'm
the
gonna
three
find
options,
out and
just so I'm following.
yeah,
The three options are one, um, completely change yourself so that you become a palatable, acceptable person. Um, that yeah is kind of a blank slate, but can be in relationship.
yeah,
Option
kind of an
two is
automaton.
an automaton. Yeah. Option two is you said the phrase eliminate yourself from this world, and I'm assuming that implies like
Suicide.
suicide. Yeah. And then the third option is, um, let's see how to put it in my language. It would be like,
I guess
yeah,
basically like stripping out people's assumptions. Like there's like I had the idea that people's assumptions, like everything out there, what
yeah,
people were doing were
uh huh.
wrong, and
I
it is
see. Okay.
stupid.
So,
and I'm gonna basically illuminate them. I'm gonna like strip all these assumptions out
uh-huh.
and have like something else. Like I'm gonna like I think
Hmm.
that's the atomic bomb that I was kind of mentioning in the typing video.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So you're talking about, so option 3 is change other people's view of what it means to be in a relationship, or change other people's
Yeah,
assumptions, just rip out their whole social construct and then implant a better one, your own.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
That makes them better people, more open to being in a relationship with people like you.
And maybe well, um, it's it's not just about the relationships, but what it means to be a person or like who
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
are and just
Yeah.
um like general humanistic assumptions.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think at the time it was relationship to me is like in other words I kind of want to play God.
Hmm. Hmm.
But again I couldn't read all these ridiculous self-help books or like
Hmm.
how to win friends and influence people or lions don't need to roar or something like that.
Right.
Um
Uh-huh.
and I read two of Robert Greene's books, Laws of Human Nature and 48 Laws of Power,
Right.
which I thought explained a lot more. And some of it is like political science. Like I even read Machiavelli's The Prince
Uh-huh.
because I thought like it's not like part of it is not just like, oh, it's just being nice and friendly. To me, it's like there's an underlying power within it.
Hmm.
And like there's a power that people have in themselves and somehow people submit themselves to that power. Like people just simply um basically give their own power to someone else.
Hmm.
And that's what I was looking at the time. Basically, like when I learn about relationships is that like there's like it's not just like how to like make friends or how to like get a partner or get someone who you're really interested in. And when I mean interested, it's not like I mean all the interests, like social interests, sexual interests, everything. Um, it's it's also that like there's a way where find you can find compatible people. Like
Oh,
like
okay.
I knew
Yeah.
that there were people that I did not like and people that I hated. And I mentioned that like I hated like as a kid I hated just about everyone.
Hmm.
I didn't want to be around people. And
Hmm.
um like part of it is that it's like it's a puzzle where you will have to be incredibly selective and yet find a way like what makes you like what would make a person interested in you.
Hmm.
And like you know that you're interested in a person. It's like, okay, how do you do it? Like what's a plan for it?
Hmm. I was gonna just put like all the pieces of your typing structure come together in this moment for me, because it's like this option 3 is essentially, it's motivated by a social instinct, like a desire for a relationship. It's I want to rip out the underlying assumptions that people have and implant them with like new and better ideas. That's 5. Plus it's 1. It's like, I'm sort of a world improvement, removing the contaminants and irritants and kind of restoring a natural order. And it's also, in a way, it's 3. It's like a self-improvement project.
Yeah.
It's like it's for you and them. It's we're gonna we're gonna be better together.
Yeah. We're gonna be better, but you will absolutely hate me, and I don't care.
Yeah.
um and uh yeah, like it's like I found where people can like like the idea that like I've had people tell me that sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do, which is like a shocking thing because
Mhm.
it's like why on earth would you um why on earth would anybody do what you don't want to do? That doesn't make sense. Like I thought like everyone was doing things because they wanted to do it. It's like okay,
Mhm.
like that's it. There's no question.
Mhm. Mhm.
But secretly everyone was like there's a reason why people complain or why people like have this issue and problem with just teach us this way or that sort of thing. It's like they don't want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, like I think life is just destined where it's like, yeah, there are things you don't want to do. Like that's part of life, and that's kind of what makes life interesting, strange enough, because it's like, well, yeah, you you have to struggle through things that you will have to suffer through and don't like you can't like imagine that the people who make made it shelters, like you can't, you know, just wish for a practical or an improved shelter. Like you had to cut down a few trees, you have to gather all the materials to have this comfort. And most of society, I think, is leading towards an area of comfort where it's like, yeah, we have AI doing everything for us, and Zoom calls, which actually remove quite a lot, despite it being convenient and easy for people. Um, but part of it is like in relationships, I've seen where like people can say that they don't like other people, like even the people that they say they're friends with, and that was partly like that was surprising to me. And like even like hearing the podcast where basically everyone was mixed up and everyone like just chooses like incompatible people. It was like, wow, like why? Like what
Mm-hmm.
happened?
Mm-hmm.
And like people can be like friends with people that they're clearly not compatible with, or they don't even care about, or they don't
Mm-hmm.
like, or they're not wishing to be with. Like I imagine like if everybody was in that mentality to search for a compatible person, then I don't think we have what most people are experiencing today. Like I think there'd be like billions of people who would just I think would be it would either be a different an entirely different culture, or otherwise
Mm-hmm.
like if everybody figured that out like 50 years ago, I think it'd still be like I think this area would be secluded as hell. Like I don't think I'd even be here. Like even in partnerships where people would um uh get into people who are they are not like gravitated to, like
Mm-hmm.
attracted to,
Yeah.
which that's like shocking. I I have an idea of how that happens, but to me it's like he's like I gotta figure out how. It's like people just adapting and like seeing that okay, like there's recognizing that maybe it's please enlighten me with this because but like there's this where they're recognizing okay, there's something I want, but I don't want this, but I'm just gonna leave it aside, and then it won't be a big deal until it comes up much later.
Is your vision of an ideal world one in which people simply don't adapt to each other and reveal their full true nature, and then from that place, people can find who they're compatible with just kind of easily? And instead of this kind of concealing adaptation morphing field in
Uh,
which you are kind
my
of, I don't know, an outlier because of your
my
non-adaptation?
sometimes it's hard to conceptualize an ideal world because part of it being realistic, where it's like, oh my God, how's that gonna happen? Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes like does it even require this so many people? And
Mm-hmm.
uh like like not just like to be like any harsh or violent in any way, but it's like in some way where it's like, yeah, like we're kind of overpopulated. And this ideal world has like um part of it is like, yeah, there's an ideal world for everyone, and then at the end it's like resigning to, well, okay, well, this is an ideal world for me. Like I don't like everyone else doesn't have to be here, but maybe there are, few people
Mm-hmm.
that I could be with, and that's for me. And for everyone else, that's for them to deal with. And there's this kind of whole
Yeah.
fate determinism sort of thing where it's like, is everyone like destined to, be fucked up or be messed up? And, like and they don't even know that's their destiny. And like, that's like, even I make an assumption about determinism, and there are like few people who would actually, look for something, real. And kind of getting into the spiritual, kind of this spiritual thing where it's like nobody's getting enlightened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are a few people this Nietzsche quote where, there's only one Christian and he died on a cross, and everyone else who says they're basically following through on that, like everybody who says they're Christians, like they're basically not. But, um, in other words, like, there's this one way where like maybe a few people are, you know, can fulfill their destiny and other people just don't. And that, in a way, is kind of an odd destiny itself. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of an assumption in itself. But that's where my mind is going. Oh, and I'm sorry, one last thing.
Okay.
Where I absolutely despise liars, and like my assumption is like if um like I have actually like I've managed to of course I'm not suicidal now. I have a pretty good trajectory of my life projection of where my life is going.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I'm still not content with just friendship, but I I'm really glad about the very few friends that I have.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
to me, um, like if someone is doing something for you, or if someone has proclaimed friendship, or someone has said something, that means to me that means that to me that comes from, to me I think you're coming from an honest place.
Mm-hmm.
But if
Hmm.
you say that and then turn your back on it, or do something
Yeah.
else, or actually mean something else, it's like, what did you say that for? Like, why waste your time? Like, to me, it's like, are you just trying to like fuck with me or something? And to me, it's like, if you like if someone tried to like ruin me, it's like, why on earth would someone do that? Like, it's
Hmm.
so odd. Like, I don't like I like sometimes it's really odd to get through other people who just you know people who just live to ruin other people's lives. It's like, why? I don't understand.
What does, for lack of a better way to put this, like, what does socializing really mean to you? Why why is it so important to find people? What is friendship and relationship, and what's so important about that for you?
Um, I think in a way it's getting to the heart, where
Uh-huh.
it's I suppose it's like I th- I think there's so much about the heart that I don't know about, or I haven't experienced much of. But I think that finding people and um is just like a way of recognizing that like I have like I think it's just pushing through that um backlog of uh loneliness and regret.
Mm-hmm.
And like I used to think that I don't have any regrets. I'm pretty proud of I'm proud of who I am. I like who I am. I would not want to trade myself to be anyone. Hell, I wouldn't want to be a three. I wouldn't want to be a I wouldn't want to be a seven. I wouldn't want to be an eight
Uh-huh.
or a sexual
Uh-huh.
type. I'm proud of being myself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it's pushing through this backlog of regret and it's kind of like I don't know, like I think like at that moment where it hit me, it was like I was a 6-year-old
Mm-hmm.
who thought he knew so much about the world who but really doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I I see myself as pretty I don't want to call myself an adult because um I don't I don't want to call myself an adult for various reasons, but I see myself as I don't know, like I'm kind of mature in a way where I feel I experience myself as kind of mature in a way where it's like it's not even like I can't even define it as an age, or maybe the best guess is like maybe mid 30s
Mm-hmm.
and have no midlife crisis whatsoever. But uh most of it is that there's this backlog of how um immature and naive how my relationship to not just knowing about these relationships, but also to um, I think also to my heart as well, where it's like
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
I've gotta I feel like I need to grow up in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
It's amazing
I
how
feel
much
stabbed.
you feel stabbed.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Um,
I'm deliberately like stabbed. I deliberately just poke myself and then some like I talk to myself a lot and I talk to myself about this like oh this is how the interview's gonna go and like I talked to myself about this and I was like just like it's like this heart is just like bleeding and something's gotta go and
uh-huh.
um like I kind of don't want to emote right now on camera, but um,
Uh-huh.
there's something that's saying, yeah, you need to address this. This is something that's got to be at the forefront.
Sure, yeah. And what's the this?
This um I this is the heart. This is the
Yeah.
my I think there's a like in spirituality there's kind of this way where it's like oh being more positive or being like to telling a thinking type to
Mhm.
feel
Mhm.
is just like ridiculous. It's
Mhm.
like you can't just force it. Like you can't just if someone is wanting significant people, you can't just tell that person to go out to groups or be more
Mhm.
social.
Right.
Um, and that's what I learned. And um, there's to me, it's like finding that in myself.
Uh-huh.
And there's so many, there's quite a lot of, um, I think I just like constantly learning something new, and
Hmm.
I'm stripping, uh, a few layers off of how, um, how this really, how the heart is of what it really means. And
Yeah.
this, letting it come up.
Yeah. I'm
And
really
yeah,
struck by something, just how, how how tender this desire is for connection. And I mean, especially as a social type, like, and how painful it is when that when it when it doesn't happen in the way you want it. And also the realization, like the profound realization a few years ago that you had of like, oh my God, I actually don't really feel like I know how to do this. And you said in your typing interview, or in your typing video, you said, it's amazing and surprising how people can just have friends without knowledge of psychology. And I found
oh
that
yeah,
to be so like, such a succinct way to put kind of this social five dilemma of like, people are just doing this instinctually, but it feels like I need a better mental model. I need a better way of approaching this. And, and then this kind of it's almost like there was a, what's the right way to put this? Two intellectual tracks that you started going on at the same time in parallel. One was through the Robert Greene lens and Jungian psychology and things like that, trying to understand, why are people so fucked up? What is that? What the hell is going on here? What is this brutal social jungle that I live in, that is so hard to kind of just have relationships the way I want? And then the other was, how do I become more competent at this? And how do I learn more about people so that I can actually offer something to be connected to, or can find the right people, or find people that I'm compatible with, and be the kind of person that people I want to be in relationship want to be in relationship with me.
right.
So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And oh, part of that last thing is that like I'm also Saturn ruled, where it's like yeah, there's a bunch of like coldness, and like
Hmm.
in like Saturn represents distance, and what Saturn being also the darkest planet, and also being like traditionally the coldest planet in the way I
Hmm.
understand it.
Okay.
Whereas like there's, I think there's underneath a shadow where that's not in my self image of like, being Aquarius rising,
Hmm.
of a backlog of uh, oh my god, like there's this whole messy emotional shit that to me is like, like if these emotions do come out, it's like what will I be?
Hmm.
I'm terrified about that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, and oh, these two intellectual tracks, how to be more, um I think like when finding out like how, I think this is actually kind of me like um kind of witnessing some of the like intelligence of like of the other people who are like, I think especially sixes, especially social sixes, which um I kind of have like a hate bias of them, but I really appreciate them. I'm trying to like, I think I'm starting to appreciate six a lot more, especially like supra social, especially because like sometimes like when asking like I like I'm doing this whole video with a new phone, and I'm trying to ask for like, I try to ask like a couple of people who are, how does phone plans work? How do phone plans work? How does,
Hmm. Hmm.
what will I get out of it? And
Hmm.
I just don't blanket it, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do. And I'm like, somebody help me. And
Suppress
my
social
mother,
six to the rescue. Yeah. Uh-huh.
and my mother is like, yeah, just asking someone like these self-preservation, like these questions on, how much money do I need, or how does this plan work? And like
Hmm.
my whole thing is like, how much money will I be paying? What's the result? Okay, done. And there are people who are just, really good at the process of it, and really good at processing it, and just getting into the nitty gritty, and then coming up with something else. It was like, wow, yeah,
Hmm.
thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm using them as a tool, but I kind of,
Uh,
but yeah, there's so much there that, six projects into five that
well, it feels
really
like
that they have in
it,
themselves.
it feels like you're opening to, in whatever potentially even a little narrow way, like just how do I figure out the cell phone plan, opening to that other people can help you figure stuff out.
Mm, yeah. There's some things that I'm just not registering that other people just do register. Like
Yeah. Uh-huh.
like tying back to like some people with incredible social intelligence that where they notice like what other people do and how other people act and what are the dynamics, power dynamics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like some things that people can just read and manage to react against that I just cannot do
Mm-hmm.
at all. Or otherwise, like I have an idea of how to do it, but sometimes it's like I'm not even gonna like how am I gonna get other people to just like the six gathering other people up and how they like gather other people up and rally other people and to get something or to get involved in something. To me, it's like I cannot fucking do that. Like I
Uh-huh.
think I could, but like after my many after those many reactions I've gotten from like just casually mentioning to other people that so I read Lolita and I thought it was an interesting book or American Psycho.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is not possible. Yeah. Yeah. So if someone could do like the whole advertisement thing, I would get someone else to do it. Um, but yeah, there's a whole social intelligence that I think I'm missing.
Yeah. Um, well, you said in your typing video, I'm going to read another sentence you said, um, if you're looking for an interesting person, you have to know what makes this person tick, what kind of bombs I can throw, what mark I can make on this person. And that was in the context of like you trying to figure out how to, it's almost like how to get someone, how to like get a friend, or how to make a connection with
Capture
someone in a
someone.
way. Yeah, capture.
How to kidnap someone.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
still how you think about it?
Yes. So it's like part of it is that there's the idea. There is the sometimes it could be like I think there's a way where it can get into a delusion and um there's a way where it can get into a delusion where it's like it not being realistic, like still thinking that like there's a possibility of a relationship or something going to the next level and it won't. Or otherwise, maybe that this person seems interested, but you don't know how to like snake into that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
um like part it's also looking for compatible people. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know, like you can't just, you know, like there is something that takes in with everyone, but you can't just, you know, like it doesn't just because there's something that you can like trigger or something interest in someone doesn't necessarily mean that you can be uh friends with everyone or you know it doesn't necessarily mean you could be with everyone
What makes someone
too.
else be someone that you want to connect to?
Usually they always have some intellectual stimulation or at least they're intellectually interesting, mentally interesting. Like
Mm-hmm.
um I realize that not everyone has to be like intellectual, but there always there's always something mentally stimulating. Like there's something interesting. Like maybe like it's through humor or it's through uh some most of the time it's humor, other times it's the interesting things that I can just easily share. And like it took me until like 3 years ago to realize that oh other people aren't interested.
Mm-hmm.
Like other people just aren't interested in my interests. But part of it is that um like there is a way where like yeah you can I I'm not even talking about myself here. Um and I think usually there is some like yeah we can share like it's through interest, it's through um like my interest in the Enneagram or through like books, through movies, through films, through art. Um yeah.
That thing that
And
just happened real quick, that was really interesting where you said I'm not even talking about myself. What happened? What did
yeah
you notice?
like I my mind went on a blank and then I was like okay well let's go on a tangent to and I was unconsciously thinking of going on a tangent to yeah so anyway people can you know do this thing
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
um and I'm like oh shit.
Sort of like speaking about people in abstraction as opposed to connecting to your own experience or something like that.
Yeah Like I
Yeah.
sometimes think that I I always thought that like that was a really personal video, and um
Yeah. Yeah.
like Emma mentioned that there's something about like rejection where it's like takes a while to talk about yourself,
Yes.
and my God, have I like even when even when discussing about sexuality, have I talked about much of myself here? Like I don't think
It's
I
actually,
haven't mentioned it coming out. Sorry.
you haven't. Yeah, no, I'm so glad you said that. And I was tracking that too. It's amazing. I'm so glad you just did that. That was so cool because like this part of this conversation I'm tracking, not so much, I would say, like when you talked about your experience of the social pain you experienced, that felt personal. Um, and even when you talked about, oh wow, there's actually something I really need to look at here, and it felt emotional even to go to that territory, and we didn't fully go there, but that felt personal. But when you're talking about sexuality and the brutal landscape of sexual deviance, it felt like an intellectual fascination, like it was a kind of looking through almost like a periscope from a submarine or something like that. But it wasn't really talking about your personal experience. Um,
Yeah.
so that was what just happened right there too, right? It was like I asked you a personal question, and it was almost like something kind of like whoop, like went up into a different place to talk about the general
Oh, right.
case, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go
I
ahead.
didn't even notice I went up there. I was thinking, like, I don't care where I am. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um. But I might get back to that later.
Okay.
Where? Oh Jesus. Well, actually, I'm going to talk about that now. I completely forgot what I talked about 5 minutes ago. Um. But uh, I think my like sometimes I'm not even sure this is like part of the sexual instinct where it's like I
Wait,
have
just sorry. Before you go there,
yeah.
just to tie the thread real quick. The question I asked you that you went whoop was, what makes someone else the kind of person that you want to connect to? And I think part of your answer, I'm not sure if it was complete. Part of your answer was that they're intellectually interesting and can engage with you on topics that you like to engage on. You know, whether it's the Enneagram or psychology or whatever. And
Yeah.
I was wondering too if there's anything just like an energy they have or a way they hold themselves or something like that.
It is. It's even an energy. It really it can be an energy in themselves. Like it's
Yeah, yeah.
um like they're like so like 99% of people, which like there's some people where it's like there's kind of like a blockage or an obstacle or it's like just looking at like Walmart white bread, like
Hmm.
like basic people at school, like people who just like
Yes.
don't like
Uh,
the oh my God, those like hoodies and like those fucking what are they called? Birkenstocks and socks with
Bergstein.
sandals and something like
Uh,
those thanks. And like this wearing like basic clothing like sometimes like some people can wear that and like there could be a different where they're wearing something incredibly basic like someone could just rock it or just something about an energy which like oh wow I sensing something different
hmm.
than that other person even though they're wearing relatively similar clothing and but like it's just a little teaser like there's something in everyone um and like with most people there's like just um oh my God whitewash everyone they're just completely whitewashed
Yeah,
and
yeah.
um and like there's nothing I can be interested in it's like there's nothing there it's like what's the point of even being here like there's nothing new here there's nothing interesting it's like sometimes it is an energy like I don't think it can be really complete with words, but like there's something that really is contrasting to my own style, my own, you know,
Hmm.
my something contrasting to myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it's like maybe like it could be like maybe a softer kind of person. Maybe it could be someone who's like um kind of like oh my God, like those angsty emo kind of vibe. But there's something in me that's just like, oh, I actually like this.
Uh-huh.
Or like
Uh-huh.
maybe I don't know, like there's something weird or strange or something
Hmm.
I don't know, like there's something abnormal here that, or maybe something that is striking that I'm really attracted to, or
Yeah.
in some way,
Yeah.
yeah. And sometimes that kind of melts into like you know, like it can like like there can be the level of friendships or the level of people that I like talking
Mhm.
to like there's this kind of weird um there's kind of this like internal fantastical idea where it's like friendships kind of meld into like sexual interests. Like there's like oh my god, this is gonna sound really nice, but like this kind of way where like my internal idea of boundaries or with these people kind of possibly blur, but I'm thinking like
Mhm.
that this is where I draw the line for now.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
Mhm.
the potential, the idea of it is like maybe there's something there because like
Mhm. Mhm.
like what the good doctor said, everything is sex. But
Uh-huh.
you know,
Yeah.
um,
Well, do you want to
and
talk about your
yeah,
coming out story? It's speaking of that.
yeah. Um, so my um, oh my god, I actually could you remind me about that in maybe 5 minutes or so because I could
Yeah.
um, I was thinking about my experience internally,
Okay.
like again, like I think of like I have like my own sexual fantasies and I have my own like instinctual primal thoughts and like there's got to be like someone that I'm like just like magnetized to or an object like there's got to be something that I've got to magnetize to if there's nothing that I can't have then it's
Mhm.
like I'm just dead. It's like there's nothing. But like sometimes like it could be like I find it in people, I find it in like even in like certain concepts, like even in like I'm not even sure this is part of the sexual instinct, but even like the books I'm reading, like I'm currently reading American Psycho and I'm obsessed with that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um and and there's a scene in Eyes Wide Shut where like Tom Cruise goes to this mass ball and then they have to reverse Latin chant and there's a scene where the beginning of the ritual starts and I'm like when watching that scene it's like something in my it's like something in my stomach or something in here is like just rising up. It's like, oh my God. Like God is like rising up through my soul. It's like, wow.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I don't even know that's a sexual instinct. Maybe that's something else, but
There's just something is resonating inside you. You're responding to it.
yeah, like it's like uh I don't want to say it feels divine because that sounds like spiritual bullshit, but it sounds it's like I am like made like I'm like just made out of this. Like I'm just it's like it's like I'm a part of this somehow. Like that's just
Yeah. Like it's like a resonant frequency. It's just like whatever this flavor thing is, it's like that's me also. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Like even making collages was super fun because it's like I
Uh-huh.
can like I can make like these kind of like dark fantastical like more violent collages and then switch to like these kind of somewhat soft like these um what's it not like bling pop or something like that. It's oh like these like have you seen my collages? Like I forgot what they're called.
I have
Um
not. No, I'd love to take a look actually.
Oh yeah, like there's some where I've and I'm kind of ashamed of my collages. They look pretty awful, but they're like I can switch from like a kind of over masculine element to a rather glitzy peppy uh feminine element where
Mhm.
it's like yeah like it's just something that I like. Like I even um like I like even in my music taste like I can switch from Death Grips to Madonna to um, Attica to St. Vincent to Nine Inch Nails
Mhm.
in a
Mhm.
click. Like it's
Mhm. Mhm.
um, like it's just music that I don't like. Yeah, and to the coming out story.
Yeah.
Unless there's something else.
No, that was it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Um, so I did not want to come out because like well, for a while I thought of doing that and I was like, what's the point of it? Because I thought it's like, well, what does coming out do anyway? Like what is telling your parents your you know your sexuality or your gender do in the first place? Like even if like I didn't even like my parents, I didn't like I kind of still love my mother, but I would not want to go on my way to meet her at all. And I definitely do not like my father. Um like for like of course I mentioned like my upbringing and uh, like my father made me do martial arts for a long time, which I quit. Um,
Hmm.
and martial arts is something I'm thinking of looking into back again because I heard it's really good, and I'm like, okay, but I don't want to do it with I don't want to do it with my father. I don't want to do it near my father at all.
Hmm.
I have pretty negative associations with him.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
the other part is that there's kind of this rule in this house where basically I'm supposed to go to church, I'm supposed to attend Sunday school, and like I argue with him about like it's been many times at this point where I've like he doesn't like the books that I buy at all. And and it's like it's really interesting, like it's really odd. But
Yeah.
um yeah, so like why have a positive relationship to my parents in some way? Like to me it's like there's kind of this
Hmm.
it's kind of like my family is just a collection of people that just live here. Like I think my mother and father generally do love each other, but to everyone else it's like we would never like our
Hmm.
souls like if you believe in if reincarnation is true, like there's our souls probably either made a mistake or maybe um there's like I don't know, maybe our souls actually didn't make a mistake, but nah, maybe our souls made a mistake. But um we're basically this family is kind of a collection of people who don't seem to really want to be with each other. Like they like of course we have our own own kind of culture. Like we're not
Hmm.
like we're a
Hmm.
military family. We're not like we're kind of an interesting collection, like an interesting chemistry of people where it's like like I have my over like my very responsible kind of possibly earth dominant sister, like my very conservative kind of perfect daughter sister. I have uh my very happy theater kid 379 older brother. I
Hmm.
have my youngest brother who's really into martial arts, and my
You have
other
a lot of
brother
siblings.
who's yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like I didn't think it was a lot. I thought it's like, oh, people don't have this.
Yeah.
um, but and I have my other brother, which yeah, rep, kind of the antithesis where it's like he's kind of like weird and in his own interests, but he's like he's got his own like he's on his like own in a world. He's like a drummer and everything, and he's
Uh-huh.
um like yeah, like it's an eclectic group of people. Like it's not a
Yeah.
I don't know, like it's kind of strange like how families look exactly the same at each other, and it's kind of disturbing how like similar that is, and how families actually seem to like each other,
Hmm.
and like even like oh there's something mentioned about what in dating or relationships like people think that like there's like they date people who look like their brother or sister. It's like kind of like oh god, that's kind of disturbing.
Uh-huh.
um yeah, like I never experienced my family like that. It's like yeah, like we like there are times where we enjoy each other's company, where it's like yeah, there are times we enjoy each other's company, but
Uh-huh.
in honestly, we wouldn't want to be around each other, and
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't want to be around my parents. Um,
But in terms
and
of
like kind of yeah,
in terms of coming out though, I guess the it seemed like the thread you were following there was it was like, what's the point of this? Like, what would be even the social function of doing this? Why would I want to do that? It's like, why would I make this bid to have a positive relationship for my parents to know me and or something like that?
yeah, yeah. Most of it, like I was like, I mean, before it came out to my parents, I was already out. I was already just like like I could tell someone like not my parents, maybe like I told like some people that yeah I'm queer. I don't, and it's like yeah, so
How old were you?
but I was it was last year when I came out.
Okay.
Um, and like I came out to my parents. Like I thought about like it's more of like this is who I am. Deal with it. I'm gonna. I am this way. I'm gonna be this way. And I had the idea of being or involved in like maybe getting out there, or maybe I don't know, like this odd thing where it's like okay, maybe I can find a community. Maybe I could find people there. Maybe there's something there. But I know that's like a zero possibility because
Mhm.
My parents work 2 jobs and there's like obstacles everywhere. But basically, it's like this is who I am. Deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my like I've already been telling my parents like I don't like ninjutsu. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that.
Mhm.
And um yeah, like this kind of like this unspoken agreement where it's um like my parents like my relationship to my parents is more of like they provide transportation, money, shelter, and that's it. Done.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it's um but so far any kind of like maybe they do generally maybe they do like me, maybe like I suppose they do, but
Mhm.
um to me I am not particularly um interested in having a relationship with them. Like
Sure. Yeah.
once I leave the house, I'm I have no interest in I have no interest in contacting them anymore.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. Well, it sounds like, I mean, you experience a fundamental incompatibility with whatever it is, values or way of being or something like that. And I mean, it makes sense to me, like in a way, what you're saying, like what would be the point of sharing of myself in a way that I'm opening myself to more of a connection based on what you're saying. But
Yeah.
just want to make the point that it is fascinating to hear, a hexad type in their coming out story versus talk to attachment types in their coming out stories, because um, typically attachment types struggle a lot more with exposing themselves and revealing themselves in their particularity. And am I going to be accepted for this? Whereas you're like, I don't even care if you accept me for this or not. This is just who I am.
Yeah.
So,
I I I was already like before I came out, I was like just closing the door.
mhm,
Like I basically just like I was ready to like close the door for
mhm,
any positive connection whatsoever. Like I was like shutting the doors down. Like no, that's not
mhm,
gonna happen. I don't like I'm done.
yeah,
And I know this like A, I know this is not gonna be accepted, and B, it's like well, like what's the point of like being with my parents in the first place? Like even if something works, like what's the
mhm,
point? Like I can't even go back. So
yeah.
it's like just shutting down already. Like I was yeah
I have a couple of other questions, and then maybe we'll come to a close soon. But um, I'm thinking about, you mentioned that you have found some friends. So post the period of depression, you have now found some friends, and you really like your friends. You have good relationships, and I'm wondering kind of what happened. What was the journey there to finding them and discovering that you guys actually had real social chemistry? And I'm wondering also about, in the same vein, you mentioned in your typing video that um, you often get into social trouble because people tone police you, and you hate being tone policed, and people sometimes find you obnoxious and impolite and stuff, and you don't care about those kinds of social conventions, and you're fine with that, all that kind of stuff. But also, you said that you're learning to shut up in certain situations when it feels appropriate or beneficial in some way. And so I'm wondering about, is that a form of adaptation that you're growing into? Is it a just a more kind of neutral, it's just more useful for me to shut up right now so I can get through this interaction? Is it serving you in your new relationships? Yeah.
my form of shutting up was like it's basically sensing that okay fine I don't have like I used to think that I could do whatever I want like I was well in what I mean by like like I didn't realize that people will attempt to not just ruin you but people will like getting into arguments or getting into
I see. Okay.
um getting like just like even arguments with adults or like just
Yeah. Yeah.
telling an adult that's wrong, that doesn't make sense, that's stupid, here's
Mm-hmm.
why. And
Mm-hmm.
they get really sensitive about it and I'm like what.
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
me
Uh,
yeah, and to me it's like they have this like this saying well I'm an adult you respect me this way and I'm like well seriously like to me like it doesn't make any difference like
mm-hmm.
like I there are a bunch of teenagers who have just as stupid ideas that some adults do, and there are adults who have incredibly, who I think are much more of an elder than say, who are just as much of an kind of an elder or maybe kind of more mature or actually do make quite a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
as, someone younger. Like, I don't care about, 17, 28 versus a 40-year-old, 60-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this kind of like odd correlation, like this odd correlation that age wisdom comes with age.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like it's like shutting up is a way where it's like I don't like I'm gonna try not to get into trouble as much as possible, and
Right.
sometimes like
Right.
even speaking out, like even my arguments with my father, sometimes I think, what the hell did I even say this for? Like it's not even getting anywhere. Like
Sure.
my
Yeah.
father's not gonna change my mind. Like I used to think that my father would just change his mind, but that doesn't
So just
happen so quickly.
recognizing the utility to you of not getting combative or something like that, not
Yeah,
needing to make the point. Yeah.
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 Like sometimes like you will like there are times where I will need to get like I think I will definitely need to get combative if it is necessary. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if if there's something wrong, or if there's like a a deadline about to be missed, or maybe if someone has like a problem, or otherwise if there's an issue that I'm thinking about, and like, okay, well, what's this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what is this about? Let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about it. Let's hash it out
Mm-hmm.
before this gets into a much worse problem, where it's like, that's not a big deal. We'll do it later. Nines. Get
Yeah.
your shit
Yeah.
together. Sorry. but
Uh-huh.
but yeah, like sometimes there are just things where it's not even worth arguing about because it doesn't get anywhere. And
And are your
like,
are your friends that you've made the kinds of people that you don't need to shut up around?
yeah, these are the people that tolerate me.
Uh-huh.
um, these are like I could just like like I can like talk to someone about like say a book I'm reading, or a movie I'm interested in, or maybe my views
Mm-hmm.
on sexuality, pornography, or like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
interests and whatever, where my mind is going, and they're not overly sensitive or reacted to it. Like they're not like, that's weird, or that's wrong, or they just get all like prissy and disgusted about it.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's and to me, like I get a sense, like I get the feeling that with other people, they just don't take it too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I read this book like out of entertainment, and it's like, yeah, like this is fun, but also this is serious at the same time. Like I really, really, generally, seriously like it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm seriously having fun with it. And people just don't really like my assumption is that people are just generally uneducated, or otherwise people just aren't open enough to just kind of um learning about it, or really being interested in it.
Yeah. Or like flinch away
Yeah,
from things that are uncomfortable or disgusting or things like that
yeah,
that you find yourself fascinated with.
yeah. And another part is like sometimes they will kind of like joke about it and then like move on to a whole different subject. And
Right,
it's like,
right.
wow, okay,
That annoys the
whatever.
shit out of me too, actually, as a fellow social
Yeah,
self-press type. Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
yeah. It's like
Yeah.
it's kind of like Zarathustra, like speaking to the masses, and the masses just don't understand it. It's like, what the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, yeah.
I have one more question for you, which is how do you hold being on the autism spectrum and being a 5 separately or together, and how do they intermingle for you?
Um. So I think autism is a part of me. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can't. I think that's just how my mind works. That's maybe what how my mind works. Like kind of mingles with personality in some way, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and like with habits and patterns, etc.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine not having autism, or at least like um like that's just how the mind works. Like I don't even want to call it autism at this point. It's like, well, that's just me. That's just my mind works. I don't care.
I see. Okay.
But
Yeah.
that's like I think it is like a literal, like it is a disorder. Like maybe it is like a disorder where it's like, yeah, there is a socially handicapped way. And like I'm like really socially handicapped, and I have these obsessive fixations, and like even my interest in animals. Like I don't even remember anything else much else about my childhood except animals, animals, animals.
That's
And not living
amazing.
people, but animals.
Uh-huh.
Um Sometimes when hearing other people like in and this conversation is I think an exception, where other like when talking with other people, like I will need to like hear what they said again because like sometimes I think I'm a really terrible hearer. And like I'm really a terrible hearer. Like sometimes people will say something and to me what I'm hearing are like mumbles or people are talking too fast or
Mm-hmm.
they're going somewhere where it's like I need to hear that again. I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's so many ways where some people will say one thing and I'm like, oh, they mean this, and I'll follow through with that tangent or something. And
Mm-hmm.
realized that 10 minutes later they were talking about something else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, other people who are on the spectrum, who are I think who are definitely other types that like first of all when David Gray, and this is where I do the shout out, David Gray, the magical genie, granted my wish, giving my super secret blessing, as in sending my typing information without my consent. Warn me. This is a warning, David.
Okay.
Tell me next time. Where like type 5 is described as pseudo autistic.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I'm like, yeah, like that's kind of true. Like it's like I kind of like there's this idea like understanding what 5 is, and it's like, yeah, that is kind of pseudo autistic. Like
It is,
super in the
yeah.
brain where it's like not not body oriented, not like out of touch with the body, out of touch with the heart,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and kind of like this basically brittle, unfunctional sort of being, which in a way that kind of is I wouldn't like that kind of is what part of what autism is, but what does that mean if it's not 5? Like I think to me like having autism is partially like kind of being of finding a way where it's like you're not able to like really read people or understand certain contexts, or like there's
Mm-hmm.
like even having obsessions and fixations and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
kind of like your mind going this way and like there's something very different with it.
Yeah.
And going back to where uh other people with autism is like they've like I know plenty of people with autism who are really really in tune with the collective. Like they're really interested in other people. Like they're incredibly open to it, like much more
Mm-hmm.
open than I am. Like I um and like much more into to like the collective where it's like we're all in the same boat, or it's like socializing or based off of demographics or based off of like, oh, there are other people like me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have that kind of mentality at all. Where it's like even like the God like even the generic like the autism speaks, or like those like pop psychology programs where talking about autism, where it's like autism awareness month and this kind of like being so like it's okay to be special and unique, and I found it completely um unattractive. I found it completely unattractive, and I was like
Mm-hmm.
irked at it. I just cringed at it because I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
like um I thought it was first of all cheesy, like those like those ridiculous like self motivation, like those like others motivating posts or like those messages. To me it's like, well, I know myself. I know what I want to do. Like you don't have to tell me that.
Yeah, because
Thank
it's
you,
kind of
but
like
no thank you.
implying that you need to be lifted up in some way, or that it's implying that you're
Yeah.
thinking of yourself in some lesser way, so you need to, or so it's okay to
Yeah.
be different or whatever.
It's kind
Yeah.
of like also um putting your it's kind of like at this point like almost putting your power over other people to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And like my like kind of my criticism of feminism, where it's like other women like there's solidarity in the collective, and I think there is, but it also is with the it like it's not just about collectivism, it's also having faith in the individual,
Mm-hmm.
and having an incredible strong sense of the self, and really a strong pride in itself too, where
Yeah.
it's not even narcissistic or like delusional,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a strong pride in the strong genuine pride in itself.
Yeah.
And um like like I think that's true feminism. Like it's not even just like to me it's like not just I'm proud to be autistic. Like it's I'm proud to be me. Like I'm not
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know just proud to be a gay man. I'm not just proud to be, all these other demographics. I'm proud to be me. Like to me, like it's beyond these basic demographics, like just beyond being on the spectrum, beyond being queer, beyond like even my skin color. Like I don't feel like I have like kind of adopted a culture. Like this is like this cult. Like I've kind of like created my own culture, and this is for me and me alone. And anybody else who wants to join in, like sure, go ahead. But this is not for like this is my flavor. Like this is my thing that's separate from these boxes.
Yeah. Well, that feels like a really good and triumphant notes to end on. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much.
No,
I really appreciate. No, that's it. No, I thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. And this has been a delightful conversation to have. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning into this conversation with Moses. If you liked this conversation, then please click like or hit subscribe if you're on YouTube. Or if you're listening to this as a podcast, then you can leave up to a 5-star review and also leave some comments if you're on Apple or Spotify. Those are free and very effective ways to support me and the work that we do here at the Enneagram School. And if you're curious to learn more about what we do at the Enneagram School, then I would love for you to come check us out at our website. We have free resources to learn the Enneagram. For example, a lot of written content on the website, as well as more conversations that you can browse by type and also by instinctual stacking on our website. There's a tab that says interviews. You can go check it out there. And also I invite you to subscribe to our email list, which is where we'll send notifications, for example, if we have upcoming retreats or classes, or also we'll drop conversations just like this. We'll let you know when they're coming out. I also want to plug our intro course, which is a great resource for beginners to ramp up quickly. And it's also a great resource for advanced students to go back to the basics and see how all of the disparate concepts of the Enneagram weave together into a coherent tapestry. So one more thing. If you think that you would be a good candidate for me to interview on the show, then I would love to hear from you. You can contact me directly through the Enneagram School website. Just go to the contact form and then fill it out. Preference goes to people who have been officially typed by the typing team at Enneagrammer. So Enneagrammer, in my view, is the world's most accurate and precise Enneagram typing service. You can check out their typing services at enneagrammer.com. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time.